kobo. Monti soroti moni so. Ibekele eniyo ason lori asoni. Efi yobo sheti yoto. Onwere ti anshe lole mwayetoro. Bronti yolojo tinkaljo. Kenyong tianwa tianvia jarawa taba wolotun tasiwo wolowosi alafia niko lolete walon eni bafe kobo moti soroti moni so.
Are we on? Okay. Hello, everyone, and how are you today? Welcome to Events Architects Academy. So good to have you here. I'd like to welcome everyone here. If you can see or hear us, please say something in the chat so we can know that we're doing okay. My name is Fumi Victor Kibo. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of Events Architects and the lead facilitator of Events Architects Academy, the convener of the Big Birthday Bash, the unofficial Christmas party, and so on and so forth. Today, I have someone special. He's going to introduce himself in a minute, but before we go on, I'd like to encourage you all to share the links, invite people. If you know any MC, any event professionals, tell them we're about to have a party. So, Oscar, I'm going to let you do the honors of introducing yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? Okay. Yes. I think we've lost. Can't see him anymore.
Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me? Just to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. So I'm Bemileke Oscar Onison, better known in certain circles as Oscar in the City. By profession, I am an engineer, a chemical engineer. But that's another story for another chat.
Another day.
But my passion is media, has always been, and I've been doing that in the last 18 years in various capacities: radio, TV, producer, and from behind the camera. But why I'm here is being a master of ceremonies, which I have been doing for close to 15, 16 years now, give or take. And that journey has led me to create the first bespoke, deliberate class for MCs called the Emcee Company, which I registered in 2013 and had my first class in 2016. And the idea was basically to groom the next generation of MCs in Nigeria and beyond. And that has been my journey so far. I have a wife, a lovely, lovely wife, Titi the Dynamite, and we have a set of twin girls together. We've been married 11 years, and media is everything in my life, in my family's life, and I love every day I'm with the mic.
Fantastic. I really love, and that's why you're here, because you and I share that passion to train people, to give back. Yeah, because for me, I started the academy because I was just tired of complaining. The quality is low. People are doing this and that, and I was like, you know what? Let's do something about it. So I was so excited to know that you also have the Emcee company. I'm like, let's do this, right? So happy
It was
to
a
have you.
no-brainer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the fact that, I mean, I checked out all the work you've been doing. You're so passionate about it, and a lot of your fans and your mentees have been giving us shout outs in the DM, and so excited about today. So I'm so glad we can finally do this, right? For those of you who are just coming, welcome, welcome. This is Events Architects Academy, where we train event professionals, not just event managers, but everyone in the events ecosystem. So to do great events and to get hired for the best jobs. All right, so I'm going to go to we have a few questions. You know, it just occurred to me, Oscar, that usually you're the host. Today you are my guest.
I'm on the receiving. I'm on the receiving end this
So
time.
I'm going to ask you any question I like. Don't worry.
And I'll answer the ones that I can.
I'm being politically correct to the ones you can't answer. Anyway, so our first question today is, Oscar, what in your view sets an MC apart, and what makes them exceptional and memorable at an event? Because we have lots of MCs out there, you know.
That's a fantastic question. It sounds simple, but the answer has layers. So I'll try to simplify it. I tell most of my students that being an MC is an extension of your personality. What makes you exceptional as a person is more likely going to make you very exceptional as an MC. So let me start with myself. As far back as secondary school, those who know me from school days, even primary school, I get into a room and I literally take over. I'm talking, I'm cracking jokes, and it's the subtle things. And it started from way back then. But never did I think it would become a source of livelihood or a profession that can be taken seriously. So the first step is, who are you? There are some MCs who are very fun. There's some that are very serious. There's some that can't crack a joke to save their lives because they are comedians. And there's some that, when you get into a room, if it's a serious event, maybe a book launch or a seminar, they deliver. So the ability to understand your strengths is the first step. The second step, like anything in life, is to honing on the craft. The gifts that we're all given requires nurturing. So I was very lucky that a lot of things aligned in my life. So for example, yes, I had this raw talent, but when I got into radio in 2004, my first radio station was Unilag FM.
Wow.
It was the first university radio station. And I was studying chemical engineering, and due to the vision of a man called A.W.K. Baylor, he was the head of Unilag FM, he heard my voice and like, you should be on radio. And that's how my journey in radio started and media. And what happened is, for every day I was on air, it helped me to perfect the ability to speak, the ability to improvise, the ability to engage audience. And that added to the skill set that has become part of me now. I always say that the way you know what you love doing is that you can do it for free.
Yep.
But you'd rather charge.
Exactly. I love it. I actually had that conversation with someone today, too. Yes.
What do you say?
Yes, I said I had that conversation with someone today about, when you love something, you could do it for free. But yes, it would be nice if you got paid for
but
it.
you'd rather charge.
Yes.
So, I mean, those are the things that I think stand out. And last but not the least, so number one is discovering that thing you love doing that you'd rather do for free. You can do for free. Number two is the practice. So because if you look at the cross-section of very good MCs in Nigeria, there are a handful of us. And what is common to a lot of us is that we had media background. We were in radio.
Yeah.
You look at Ike Osakidowa, you look at Frank Edoho, you look at the likes of Ebuka. There's a bit of broadcasting media in our history. So when we get on stage, we are paid to produce excellence on demand. We're paid to be able to save the day. And some of those things are things that are second nature to you, instinctive. It's stuff that you've been learning over the years. So I think once you can marry those three elements, what happens is at events, people tend to recognize that and reward you by giving you more events to do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. The second question says, I'm an event manager. How does one convince a client who'd rather ask a friend to MC an event than hire a professional? Because there are many people who be like, MC, I beg, it's so expensive. My friend can do it. Is it not just to talk? So
That is
that's all you do now. You just talk now, Oscar. It's easy now. Anybody can do it.
Maybe it's just to talk.
It's just to talk.
As an event planner, I've not been on that side, so I might not be the best person. But what I can tell you is the very good event planners that I've seen. The hallmark of an event planner is to get your client to absolutely trust your judgment. When they trust your judgment, there is less resistance, and it's also on the path of the event planner to be able to go out of a limb for the MC. Now, a lot of event planners don't do that for many, many reasons. It could be costs, it could be they have alternatives or whatever. But if you're in a situation to push a certain MC, if you're in a situation to ensure that this event is a success, then it's up to you to determine how best to get that from your client. But one thing I do know is that, and it's become very rampant, is that MCs are always the last. They're like an afterthought. If any client should reach out to me, event planner or director, we have an event next week, and you're just reaching out to me this week, is a red flag for me. I don't shut it down, but it just tells me that something is wrong somewhere. Either there was an MC, and due to whatever reason, couldn't hold on to it, or there was an issue, or the event happened very fast. But whichever which way, we are the last point of call. Once you paid for your venue, you've done your nice decorations, you've done everything. The MC is the person that is the thread that ties and stitches all these things together to make it worthwhile. And that's why the word MC is master of ceremonies. And the connotation of a master is the fact that you have practiced and you become very good, and you become a sensei in that regard. The event planners have a very big role to play in ensuring that the way you defend the event you want to use, or the event place, the way you defend the DJ you want to use, the way you also defend the MC. Unfortunately, a lot of that defense is based on the relationship that has been fostered between the MC and the event planner. I have some event planners that I'm their go-to because they just know it's a done deal, it's okay, they can focus on other things. And I have some event planners that they need to see you in action, or for whatever personal reasons, they don't really got your back. I have been doing this for about 15, 16 years plus, but my worry is always for those younger MCs who don't have the opportunity, who don't know anybody. And that was one of the reasons I set up the MC company. And the MC company is in three parts. There's an agency, there's an academy, and there's a resource center. So the agency part is meant to handle this. A lot of the MCs who are my quote unquote mentees, I've been able to fight for them when it comes to a client or an event plan because of the credibility I have. So if I say use A, use B, use this girl, use this guy, I put in conditions. I like, look, if it's a mess, I'll refund, or I'll do the next event for you free, or I'll find a way. So there's a way I negotiated that it's a win-win for them. And I pass that pressure on to the MC. I recommend that.
Don't let me down. Exactly.
But once they deliver, we have won a little battle, because now we have one extra person in the pool that the event planner knows. Sometimes event planners might just be too lazy to want to do the research.
Yes.
They just want the same people that they want. So sometimes I will turn down some jobs from certain event planners so that they are forced to go elsewhere and create that job for that person who would have missed out on that job if I took the job.
Yeah. So, do you believe that there are events that are right fit for a particular MC? So, for example, right, I always ask my clients, like, I break it down. I'm like, do you want an MC, right? Or do you want an MC that can be funny? Or do you want a comedian that can MC? You know, because people have different strengths, right? And the other day, you and I had this conversation about an MC and a hype man and all that. I don't know whether I should go there at this early stage of this. Let's not go there. But I'm saying that, is it possible to have, okay, I'm an MC, but I don't think this particular event is the right fit for me, because, you know, I don't think I'll be able to flow with the crowd, or I don't believe in what they're doing or whatever. Or as an MC, are you supposed to be able to do anything and everything?
So if you remember your very first question, which is about how do you get the wow factor at events, and I said it's an extension of the personality. I know my strengths as an MC. If, for example, I'm invited to anchor or compare a Yoruba wedding, a core Yoruba wedding, or an Igbo wedding, something along that line. Yes, I might be able to say one or two things, but I know that is not my strength. My strength is corporate events. My strength is events that have to do, cerebral, book launches, seminars and stuff. So I tilt my brand towards that. I've done some weddings, I can deliver on those things. But because I know where my strength is, I tend to play to my strength. But the how do we handle this? The example that you gave, which is when people want a certain MC and it's like a menu, it's a very slippery slope from my personal experience. So in as much as I understand what you're saying for me, when a client reaches out and says, do you want a comedian, or do you want a this, or do you want an MC, do you want a serious? What you're indirectly doing is that you're putting these MCs into boxes, so to speak, and you're amplifying the strengths that they have. So if a client wants I have clients that will say, I don't want jokes. I want somebody that has sense. What they're trying to say is that they want somebody who can read the room and be able to deliver based on what is in the room, how the people are feeling, the intelligence to handle that.
Absolutely.
So that is a very gray area that I don't think there's a definite answer, because you have MCs who are funny on Instagram. They've done pre-production, their skits is nice stuff.
And they've done so many things.
They've done so many, but when you now bring them on a live show, and sound should go off, or the DJ should mess them up, or light goes off, or the crowd are hot. The ability to adapt in that environment is why certain MCs charge more than others. And the pressure is a lot, because I tell my students that you're only as good as your last performance. And I got that particular quote from one of my mentors, Dan Foster, when I was on radio. He used to say, Oscar, you're only as good as your last show. There's what you call air check tape, which is during the program's meeting on a Monday, we'll all sit down, listen to your performance on air, and they review it. And you're only as good as your last review. So you might get that funny MC, but on that day, if things don't happen, maybe somebody hit him on the way to the event or whatever, and he's not bringing up his A game, he doesn't have a second chance to make a first impression. And from that day, that client will be like, this guy is not funny, or this guy messed up my show, or the event plan won't use it. So it's a dicey thing, I won't lie.
Do your research, people. Don't just hire people because you saw them on Instagram. Don't
before they come for me.
Don't always believe the gram. No, but it's not just about emceeing. It's about everything. Even for event professionals, right? You go on someone's page and you say a perfect picture of decor, right? That's not everything to do with an event, So these days it's all about the lovely videos and the pictures. It's the people who actually attended the event that will tell you what really happened there, So do your research is all I'll say. Thank you so much. This one says, Oscar, how do you professionally handle a situation where different people walk up to you to make changes to the program during an event? I say professionally because this can be really annoying. So How do you handle that? Has it happened to you
I
before?
still had one. I still had one 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So the first thing you need to insist on at the point of negotiation or at the point of your first pre-production meeting or recce, which is why I always like some time before my events. Part of my team, what they usually do is insist that payment is made at least 3 weeks before the event. So the issue is that if you don't have enough time to get into the world of the client, you risk having a last minute issues. And one of the things you need to sort out at the beginning is who is my contact person.
Yeah.
So on the day of the event, and that's why personally I don't like doing weddings, I don't like doing, because that's when the father-in-law, mother-in-law, will come at you.
Yep. You've not called this auntie.
So
you've not called this uncle.
Yeah. So one of the things that you need to establish is who is the point person, point man or point woman or whatever the case may be. And the reason is very simple. In the military, there's what you call the chain of command. And that chain of command is very applicable during events. So when I get to an event, the first thing I do is establish who on the client side is my contact person, who is the head of the ushers, who is the head of security, who is the head of a band, who is the head of sound, who is the head of stage. For example, if it's an awards, maybe an award ceremony or any event that requires that kind of attention.
Yeah.
So once you have that, all you just do is always refer people to that contact person. So let's say the contact person is Fumi, and Fumi is my point man. Please, I need you to read out and recognize. So you take it, say thank you very much, sir, but there's a lady over there, her name is Fumi. Please, can you just clarify with her? I'll hold on to your paper, and as soon as I get the opportunity to announce it, I'll do so, but I need you to clear it with her, sir.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or clear with her now. So how you manage that situation in that moment is how you get to enjoy your show. So what you do is you politely deflect all these people. And Fumi is the only person that has the right to come to tell you, do this, don't do this, do that, don't do that. So that would be my advice on that particular question. Establish very quickly who your point man is and make sure that person is near you during the event.
Fantastic. Thank you. Guys, if you're still there, say hi in the chat, send your questions. Would like to hear more questions from you. And yeah, and would also like your comments too. Are we making sense? Are you learning anything? Please let us know. Let us know. Next question is actually for me. It says, from your experience, how can an MC collaborate with the event manager to get the best results? Okay, so for me, I just feel that, like you said, Oscar, there are very few of you that are professional. Sometimes what MCs just do is, you call them for an event and you don't see them. They get paid and you don't see them till event day. In fact, some of them are even just rushing from their taxi. They are coming late and they just go straight and grab the microphone, right? I think that's really unprofessional. So I feel like as an MC, you should ask. It goes both ways. I think as event professionals, we should learn to brief properly. Give the details of the event. Where is the event? Where's the venue? Who's your contact person? What is the event about? Send links if you want them to research. Even things like, what would you like them to wear? What's the dress code, right? Put everything in there. Sometimes we send that and the MCs don't even read. They don't read it and they're still asking questions. But do your part. And if you're an MC and you don't get that from your event manager, put them under pressure and send them a list of things that you'd like to know, So I think that's one way to collaborate. I love it when MCs come into an event and make the event their own, and they've researched so much that it's almost like, they're an extension of the company or of the client. I love it when that happens. Yeah. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, it's a very valid point. the thing about MCs, the profession generally, is that we usually tend not to have a second chance to make a first impression. We are judged based on that performance in that moment, in that time.
Yeah.
When you go out of your way to learn about the client or the company or the business, it goes a very long way.
Yeah.
Now there is the role of research, but there's also the role of delivery.
Yeah.
How you deliver what you learn or what you know is a hallmark. You don't need to come across very corny, but at the same time, they know you've done their research. They know you're not their friend. They know you've not been in the company. So, for example, there was a Zenith Bank Tech Fair, the second edition that I compared alongside Mujibade Shosonya, who's another fantastic female MC.
Yeah.
And what happened is, because it's Zenith Bank, this was an event that was being streamed live. All the staff, the Eco Hotel was big, and it was for 2 days. And because the company is so big, there are different departments.
Yeah.
There are different departments. And one of the first lessons as an MC is to know your audience. Now, how do you acknowledge every department in a bank that big?
Wow.
So what I did was I found out the top names of the departments. And when it was time to introduce yourself, introduce yourself like, oh, by the way, I hear that the IT department is like the best department in Zenith Bank. If you're in the IT department, let me hear you make some noise. And then all of those in IT, some of them were downstairs, some were upstairs.
Yes.
And I heard that HR is here. HR is taking notes, so HR makes some noise, and everybody laughed because there was like 3 or 4 people. So that was a way of telling them that, look, I recognize, I see you, I see the departments, I see the hard work. It's not about this big board of directors in front. Yes, we pay the check, but you guys do the work, and I see you. So that was an example of doing the research, knowing the audience, and then engaging them properly.
And for me also, for event professionals out there, I say that yes, there's friendship. There's I know this MC is my person, or this vendor is my person, or this catering person is my person. But me, I don't. When it comes to work, I don't do friendships. Right? Can you deliver? Can you deliver? Because I want to hire somebody who will make me and the client look good. Because it's all about trust. If you bring somebody because the person is your friend and they mess up, then your credibility is gone out of the window. So yeah, that's it. My next question is for you, Oscar. I mean, it's mostly about you. You are the guest.
Okay. I'm seeing some people on YouTube. Are you seeing the YouTube? Okay.
Yes. Are we live? Okay, yes, we are live. I can see let me read some of the comments. Yes, Radio and Isabella Adediji. Hi, we can see you. I think.
Hey, Isabella, how you doing?
I think she's your fan. Yeah.
Yeah, she's my person. She's actually an Alaga. She studied the Alaga School of Alaga, and she went to Cambridge.
Wow.
As well. So
are you serious?
It's a nice twist.
Oh, great, Isabella. Let's give her a shout out.
Big shout out to Isabella.
The event community. Just take a note of Isabella and make sure you hire her.
Alaga to Cambridge.
So
that's actually one of our players. Yes.
Fantastic. Jadesola, I think she mentioned something about when you talked about the chain of command. She liked that. Then Onyinye Chidike says, absolutely, I'm having a great time. I'm learning and relearning. And then Jadesola says the role of research and the role of delivery. And Chinwe Ndwaloze said, can you deliver is very key. And Isabella is saying, hello, Oscar. So yeah, that's over there. Yes. So Oscar says, a tough crowd is an MC's nightmare. Have you ever experienced this, and how did you handle the situation? Tough crowd, the guys who, no matter what you say, they're checking you out. They don't care. How have you handled this?
Part of the wisdom of being a good MC is knowing when to quit. And what do I mean by that? There's some situations that you cannot out-talk, outsmart, out-joke out of.
Wow.
However, what you do is you're dealing with people who know that, okay, this guy's in a tough spot. What's he going to do? So let me give you an example. I think I gave this example in my maths class to the students I have. Let's just say there was a senator who was opening a tech hub, and the governor of Lagos State was there. The current minister was also there. A bit of tech people were there. And this event was happening outside. So there was a canopy, and they were outside. And the idea was there'd be a little bit of banter before they now cut the ribbon and go into the hub. So what happened was, during the event, a couple of dignitaries were meant to speak, and then the worst thing that could ever happen happened. The external generator packed up.
Wow.
So there was no sound. Now, this was coupled with the fact that the fan, which was the standing fan, went off. So the crowd were under a canopy in the middle of the day, and it was extremely hot. So as an MC, number one, the crowd are uncomfortable, they're agitated. Number two, because of the caliber of people that were there, they can't just walk away. Number three, we were a third through the event. We had not even really started.
Wow.
Number four, what do you do next as an MC? So for those on YouTube, I'll just give you 2 seconds or a minute. As an MC, what do you do? Just drop the comments very quickly. I'll read some, then I'll tell you what I did, and I'll tell you how I arrived at, quote and unquote, what I would like to call the solution. So if you can hear me, or if you can hear me, just drop it in the comment section. The link to the YouTube, I think it's on the IG handle for Events Architects.
Yes.
Okay, so you can go there and basically link up.
So guys, we're waiting for your comments. What would you do?
So what would you do? Let me use that to just give a quick shout out to Jide Benson. That's another veteran, long time. He's the one that basically kicked off having a calendar. That's one of the earliest memories of Jide Benson. He was very innovative, still is. So he would print a calendar. His image would be on every month of the year, and he would give the calendars to clients, and it became, his hallmark. Big shout out to you, my brother. I see you. We're a very small circle, so Omo Talks, I see you. One of my guys at the top is also a great mentee. Ejiro, EJ, I see you too. Great to have you. Chiwendu Alozie. Okay, so comments are coming in now.
Wait, so let me to hail my people. Oh, it's not only you that has people here. Let me hail my people too. Obi Odushola Obs, my girl, I see you. Yeah, Ada is here. Where? Nosa John Oyiko, I see you. Thelma is here. Where are my peeps? So it's not only you that has people now. Jade Sola is here. Everybody is here now. Thank you. Hey, I finished sharing my people. Yes, let's go on.
So okay, I'm seeing some comments here. So these are interesting ones. Yes. Jesus says, start speaking in tongues. Adebayo says, probably try to crack a joke. How you doing, Adebayo? That's another good man. Jumoke says, I will start crying. Well, you'll definitely not get the next job. Let me see, what else? First, to take ownership of the situation. This is Isabella. Acknowledge what has happened, then circle back to the client. Okay, that is close enough. So what happened, just to let the cat out of the bag, is immediately that happened, I couldn't project because I was outside. So even if I projected, my voice just went into thin air. I acknowledged that the crowd were hot. So what I did was to say something along the line, I'm just paraphrasing, I was like, thank you very much for the patience. Power will be restored shortly, but I hope you're all enjoying the air conditioning that is currently blowing you. You know, so some laughed, some looked at me like they whine me. So that was the first thing to acknowledge.
It's like
so
an icebreaker.
I told them, if you want to call it that. So the second thing I had to establish was how long it would take to get the power back and how much time did I need to manage. And the reason you need to do that is you need to become, quote unquote, damage controller. That's part of the unwritten job description as an MC. So when I got back the information, they said 30 minutes. It was going to take 30 minutes to get power back because the generator had packed up. The backup gen, there was none. And the gen in the actual main building could not power the sound. So I had 30 minutes to kill. Now, if you remember what I mentioned about hierarchy, the hierarchy in terms of knowing who the point person is.
Yeah.
Don't forget, the event planner at this point was in total anarchy because here's the governor of the state, here's the senator, and here is a crowd of obas and local chieftains and captains of industries, people who are movers and shakers, and they were visibly hot and sweaty. So who is the most senior person in that environment? The most senior person that trumps your event planner, that trumps even the person that organized the event, is the governor. So what I did was I quickly went straight to the governor. I knelt down and I said, Mr. Governor, I don't know how you wish we should proceed, but we might not be able to get power back in 30 minutes. Should we just go straight and cut the ribbon and get people into the hall, into the main building so that at least the event will flow? Now, I knew that was not going to happen, but I made a proposition.
Absolutely.
And the reason I made a proposition is that it gives the governor or whoever it is that's going to make a decision an option. So the governor now replied and said, no. He said, no. So he said, Oscar. He said, Oscar, no. Get the people who are meant to speak to come out. I said, there's no microphone. He said, they'll get a speaker from the media boss and they should bring it. That's the, what's it called? The one with the microphone and the mobile speaker. Anyway, the karaoke box kind of it. My people in the chat room, please help me. So they dragged the microphone and the speaker from the media bus attached to the governor's entourage, and they put that beside the podium. Now, because the governor had given me the go ahead, it meant that any other thing was secondary. Any other decision was secondary.
Someone
Public
said press crew bus. Okay, yeah.
Are you there?
Yes, someone said press crew bus. Okay, public address system. Yes, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you, Oscar. Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
Okay, can you all hear me?
I can hear you. Oscar, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Just making sure.
Okay, great.
So, so the PA system was brought up, and what happened was all the people who were built to speak kept on speaking.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, the flow of the show continued. Number three, because they saw me having an exchange with Mr. Governor, they were able to, if the governor sits down, then who are you? That kind of a thing. So that was how I managed that situation. Luckily, the light came back on. And then from there, I moved on the program. Why? Because the audience were agitated. We've lost about an hour. Mr. Governor had another appointment. The senator wanted to inaugurate. So what I now did was every other person that came after them, the idea was I whisper in their ear, please let's just make it 1 or 2 minutes and then we'll move on. And that was how I was able to manage that particular situation. So the next question would be, how do you manage it? You don't know the situation you're going to be in. However, instinctively, what happens is, if you have been on this journey as an MC, as a OAP, event planner, whatever the journey you've been on, muscle memory kind of kicks in. And what do I mean by that? If Fumi was in this room with me and I threw a ball to her, Fumi did not know I was going to throw the ball, but instinctively what will happen is you will reach out, am I correct? And you will catch the ball, because somewhere in your past, maybe in PE class or whatever the case might be, you were able to understand and train reflexes. So it's the same kind of principle when it comes to events. I think it was Ike Osakido that mentioned this some time ago, who might not even be in the room.
Yeah.
In the case of the generator, whoever it is that was responsible for either servicing the gen was probably miles away. But we were feeling the effect of their incompetence.
Yeah.
Now, nobody will blame you as an MC because it's not your fault. But what would happen is that if you can salvage or rescue the situation and turn it into a moment, people will have more respect for you.
Absolutely.
And the event planner that day told me that, look, any job I have now, you
Of
not
course.
necessarily because
Of course.
she wants to be having bad issues,
Yeah.
but because she can trust that this guy will find a way around. So that would be my response to that question.
And that's where experience comes in. The truth is, yes, at some point we were all like novices. We just started, and then you're wondering, why are they paying this person so much? It's things like this, the way you were able to turn the situation around. I read something one time that says you pay a plumber not to hit hard, but to know where to hit.
Where to hit.
Yeah. So it's not about hitting hard. Somebody can come and do something in 2 minutes. Don't say, you did it in 2 minutes. Then you shouldn't get paid a lot of money. No, it's the experience that makes it easy for that person, to do what they do. So that's amazing. That's an amazing story, because some people would have started cracking jokes in that situation.
Oh, that was the longest.
Yeah, and people would have, people would have gotten.
I don't even know how to crack jokes. So.
Yeah, some people just start, going around, and people will just be even more pissed. So yeah,
there will be, but I must give it to, Mr. Governor. Then he was very composed, almost very chilled.
Wow.
And the reason he was like that is because he's seen this so many times.
Of
He's
course.
been at such events so many times.
Of course.
And he was there for a very special friend.
Of course.
And it's the same way as MCs. If I tell my MC coordinator to list the problems they've had in the last month, everything will border on around maybe light or sound or somebody. It's the regular things. And by the time you've done that long enough, you know how to handle them. Almost said he literally experienced this yesterday. A wedding he was emceeing. So it's regular.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's regular.
Yeah. Someone asked, how do you prepare for an event? Can you share a few tips, Oscar? How does a pro you prepare? Yeah, is there music you listen to?
A checklist.
A checklist.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
you mean okay, before I go on stage.
Yeah, whether with that or even preparing. Okay, so maybe the researching part, or just your routine for people to learn from the guru.
I wouldn't say guru. I'm still very much learning. So for me, your performance starts from the mind. Starts from upstairs. I always the vision I have is an event that is successful. So I fast forward to the end of the event, that I'll get people who will reach out to me. I'll get people who will ask for my number, my card. The clients will be happy. So mentally,
wow,
I position myself in a space where the event is a success.
I love it.
Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yes.
And the way you position yourself mentally is a stepping stone. Everything manifests from there. The second thing I do is rewind to the last very good event I had, which usually, more often than not, is the last event I had. So I look for high points. I look for moments where maybe I made the audience laugh or the client laugh or something nice was said. And I literally psych myself to tell myself that the event should be good. Music always works, but if you don't remember anything I've said, remember this. Preparation eliminates fear. When you prepare well enough, it reduces the amount of fear you have before, during an event. And the reason is very simple. I had a client of mine just 2 weeks ago. She was a former boss of mine, but she had an event to speak where she was a moderator. And there was a women-centered event. There were a lot of, high dignitaries and all that stuff. Now, because of her position and her title of a general manager, the expectation was that she can deliver, but she reached out, and I was humbled by that. Number two was to take her through the process. So the preparation for someone like that would be different from the preparation of an upcoming MC. And by the time I went through the process with her, a lot of it centered on her capitalizing on her strengths, on her telling her story as a woman. Because the gathering, the audience, which is number one, know your audience. The audience was predominantly women. It was a women-centered event. So I told her, you need to find moments of connection. E.g., you can get on stage and just remove your shoe. I'm like, women, I beg, I don't do 2 hours of makeup. My feet, they kill me. If you're feeling me, remove your shoe too. Let's walk around or something like that. That just literally breaks the ice and they can identify it. So that is one type of prep. The audience usually determines how you prep. If you're going for a service of songs, like for example, this evening, going on right now, Mobile, God bless his soul.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone has been following the story.
Yeah, so this Mobile situation,
Yeah, Mobile, God bless his soul. And it's really encouraging to see how everyone has stood up. I think they started the procession at Lekki Gate and they're heading to the park.
That's Murio Kola, right?
Murio Kola Park, yeah. I think they should be on their way now.
Yeah.
Send some of my guys there. But the point is, if that kind of event was happening, the way you prepare for that event is, number one, know the audience. And what the audience are frustrated, the audience are angry, the audience are seeking for justice, the audience are fans. So when you get to that kind of event and you're given the mic, my advice would be to capitalize on the memory of this lost soul, this artist who brought his own life into the music. Another version could be to pick a song from his playlist and just get everyone to sing along. So all you just say is something like, I know Mobile is up there watching us now. DJ, put track 5. If you know this song, let's all sing along or something like that. And then just put the mic to the audience. So everybody channels that energy of the love they have for him. And all you had to do was just create that scenario.
Yeah, you have to be sensitive.
A lot of this, and you have to be sensitive. So that is not the time to bash people. That is not the time to name call. It is the time to celebrate this person. So that's a different type of preparation. So the audience predominantly determines that, and that affects how you prepare.
Nice one. Please send your questions. We are still taking questions. I want to give a shout out to some people. Claire, hi. Nice to see you here. IK, lovely to see you here. Jide Benson, hello. Jide Benson says we've met at some point. Yeah, thank you. The other question is, one of the questions is for me. It says, as one who manages events and recommends service providers like MCs to clients, what specific qualities do you seek in an MC when you are seeking to hire one? I think we've touched on a lot of it already. I don't want somebody who will embarrass me. When I'm searching for service providers, you have to come correct because I cannot do everything by myself. I need a solid team. So You have to come correct. As MCs also, I think people need to put a proper profile together. A lot of people don't have profiles. You don't have a corporate profile.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah,
I don't know, MCs,
I-
please, if you can hear us. This
I
is
noticed
something.
that.
Yeah, you don't have a reel. You can't just come and say, oh, I can MC. Have a reel. Let's see your CV. Let's see what you've done. And it makes it even easy for us to be able to sell you to the client. So do your research. Be good at what you do. And you'll get hired. And also, relationship is also important. And attitude. Skills are good, but nobody wants to work with someone with a bad attitude. I will pick good attitude over skills any day. I don't know who said it the other day. I was reading something and said, we will hire people with a good attitude that we can train, because you can train people, but you cannot change their DNA. So if your DNA is nasty, nobody can change you. So that's what I'll say. Have a good attitude. Keep up with build relationships with people, and be good at what you do, and have a very good profile. So that's what I'll say. Please send questions, and we'll be happy to take them. Oscar, this is another question for you. Could you share any personal experiences or obstacles you faced when you were launching your emceeing career, and how did you manage to overcome them?
For me, the MC career thing was born out of the necessity to diversify my income stream. So necessity is the mother of invention. So I didn't deliberately set out, but I think the pivotal moment for me was Alibaba, Uncle Ali. I was co-hosting the Future Awards. So before the Future Awards back then, there was what you call the town hall meeting. My wife, I think my wife then. Okay, we're codedly dating. We're both at Inspiration FM. So we were both anchors, but she's also a professional MC as well.
Yeah. And
somebody, the security man, when they bring plate number, like this person needs to move the car. And because the event was called the Future Awards, instinctively, I just said, if you're interested in the future of your car, last night is there, come and do it. And then Uncle Ali just busted out laughing. So I was like, oh no, if I can make King of Comedy laugh, then I've arrived.
Yes, so.
So this was probably, I don't know, 15 years ago or something like that ago. Now, what happened after is what made me realize I could. So he reached out to me and was like, he wants me to MC. It was Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. It was happening at the now Eco Hotel, but when they had the marquee out, what was that? What was it called when they had the marquee outside? Before Eco Hotel was completed. Outside they had the marquee.
Yeah, I saw people. A lot of people don't even know that marquee existed.
They didn't know.
Yes.
Please, if you're in the comment section and you know the marquees, it was called something. Anyway, so we had it there, and the setup was a round
Meridian.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So they had a round setup, and I was literally thrust in the middle. This is on Ocean View. No, Ocean. Thanks to this is Meridian. So this was an event that he had options. This was Alibaba. He had options of comedians, options of MCs, but I was not a comedian. But he saw something. So the first challenge, if you want to call it a challenge, somebody has to believe in you.
Yeah, true.
And if somebody doesn't believe in you, you have to believe in yourself. But it's always better if someone believes in you. My first radio job was because a man called EWK heard my voice and said, you can do radio. Then I began to see the opportunities. And Uncle Ali put me in the center stage. And while I was there, I was nervous as heaven. I was sweating, I was whispering. And I remember Benga Dinka the first, when he came on stage, he just whispered in my ear. He said, so next time when you're announcing the names, you need to go up. take your voice up. Now, because I've been so used to radio, my voice was a certain level.
Right.
But when you're on stage and you need to announce that Fumi Victor Kibo is coming up, the CVO of Events Architect Co. You need to take your voice up.
Yeah.
And then, you need to charge the crowd. But my voice was like, coming up is Fumi Victor Kibo. I was very announceurial, which was an extension of my personality because I was studying chemical engineering, I was serious, so I was very here. So when he said that, it kind of stuck. So point number 2 is you need people around you that will see the potential you have and help you fine-tune it. It's a journey that cannot happen in isolation of those 2 things. Somebody has to believe in you, somebody has to coach you, and more importantly, that usually leads to the 3rd thing, which is somebody, once those 2 things are in line, then you now begin to believe in yourself. A lot of the mentees I had, or that I have, their journeys span back as much as 5-6 years. And one of the things that they were very nervous about was believing in themselves. So I would take them for my events. They'll see me do what I do. If there was a little part that I could give them to do, they'll take the stage. Omo, for example, Omo was able to come with myself and Titi when we were doing Union Bank Edu 360. We did it for 2 seasons. I'll be 2 years in a row. And we brought him along as a 3rd MC. And the whole idea from him was just to soak it in and believe that, look, I can do this. And the rest is history. Yeah. Someone like Wale, who is traditionally a comedian, but he has this Yoruba thing going on. He's very sweet. So when I have weddings, Yoruba, I put him in there as comic relief. Or if it is Mojibade Sonia, she used to be in Access Bank, and she was struggling with whether or not she should be in the bank or whether she should take the MC event. And the first event we did together was the CEO Awards for Access Bank. And that kind of, I think, broke the ice, and the rest, they say, is history. Yeah. So somebody has to be there to hold your hand. Yeah. And don't be afraid to fail. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay. A basket mouth will tell you. I was at his album launch not too long ago. But one of the most favorite things that I remember of Basket Mouth is, as big as a brand as Basket Mouth is, he will tell you, and he said this when I was at Inspiration FM, we had a lot of activities and events, and we collaborated with a lot of artists. So he was backstage, and his face was down. And I was like, but what happened? He was like, I'm nervous. I was like, I said, Basket. He said, yeah, that's the best of us get nervous. So whenever you see a lot of these big names, whether locally or internationally, everybody goes through the same emotions. The only difference is that experience has taught us how to manage them. So when I'm getting nervous, I just push it down, and I remember I picture having a successful event, or the last moment I was happy, or just get into the crowd and see how you can interact with them, and then you kind of calm down.
Thank you so much. We have a few comments. Omo Talks said, Oscar just painted a scenario of what happened to me yesterday at an event. Claire Oyekachi, I think she was commenting to what I said about her profile. She says, this is true. I was recommended for a gig in August for Pastor Jerry just through my social media profile. And I was shocked to see that they pulled out my corporate profile from LinkedIn. I tell people all the time, your LinkedIn profile, see, one of the things I do for my students when we have our training is, unknowing to them, I pull out all their the LinkedIn profile and I show it to them when I'm halfway through the course. And they're usually, some of them are embarrassed. I'm like, go and fix your profile, It's very important, clean it up. Because people, these days, when as soon as you say your name, people are checking you out. They're checking you out, Omo Ajibade posted her routine yesterday on Instagram. It says, read, research, rehearse. That's her own secret routine. Thank you so much. Rehearse, yes, thank you so much for your comments so far. We're kind of running out of time. But before we go, would like to introduce you again to tell you guys again that this is Events Architects Academy, where we train event professionals. Not just event planners, everybody in the events ecosystem. And I'm also happy to announce our upcoming training. We have some trainings coming up for MCs. Oscar is going to be doing a training for MCs and event professionals. Or if you've thought, you know what, I think I can do this MC thing, but I need to get trained. Who else can train you than Oscar of the MC company? So from the 7th and 8th of October, we're having a training at the Events Architects Academy, and we'll give you details on our page so you can follow. And also for the Events Architects Academy of the Event Managers, Event Professional side, I will also be having a training on the, I think, let me get the dates right. Because we've been getting a lot of people in our DMs asking us when next we're training. I had the dates now.
15th.
Yes, 15th. It's on Saturday. I think it's 14th and 21st or something. Don't let me murder. It's 2 Saturdays. Anyway, follow us on follow us on Instagram. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow the MC company. Follow Oscar. Follow me for updates. And yet you'll get to know more about everything we're planning. Thank you so much, Oscar. You know we're doing this again, right?
Yes, we are. Thank you so much, FBO. And like we rightly said, this is the year of collaboration.
Yep.
The industry is in dire need of structure.
Yes.
And there are very few of us who have the ability to make that happen. And this is a clarion call to anyone and everyone who can.
Yes.
This profession is one of the very few professions that AI cannot take over.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're always going to need an MC. You're always going to need someone to be able to coordinate your event. But the responsibility is huge, but the reward is even huger, if there's such a word.
Yeah, I mean,
so thank you for.
Yeah. There are things that AI cannot take care. I remember during COVID and people were scared and were like, oh my God, what's going to happen to events? I said, events will not go away, right? Human beings, we need human touch in human interactions, you know, and we all got tired and we are here now. So nobody's taking the job of an MC.
But that year we suffered.
Man, 2020.
We suffered.
What?
As in, I had to start hosting virtual events. I think I did two virtual events, and it was a different ballgame, but it was interesting.
Yeah, but of course, and they won't want to pay you what they would usually pay you now. Some of them will be like, oh,
they'll say, is it not online?
And then there was this word that pivot. I'm like, if I hear that word again, we have to pivot. I will scream.
Pivot into the bank account.
I'm telling you. So thank you so much, and see you soon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you later. Thank you, Oscar, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much for me.
Yeah,
take care,
bye.
guys.
Take care. Bye.
Ibere dopi ilea yeta waio on koshosho ni anwa taori ala franiko lolete walorun eni bafe kobo monti soroti mo ni so Ason lori asoni efi obo shady oto onwere ti anse lole mwaye toro ronti olojo ti kaljo kenyo tianwa Miatia Jarawa Taba Wolotun Tasi Wolowosi Alafia Liko Lolete Wal